And if you didn't guess from the title, today's video we will be covering 5 anime types that I won't review, or that I probably won't review very often. I don't have a problem with these genres on a personal level, with some exceptions. If you're into these genres, all the power to you. Personally speaking, I probably won't review some of these at all. But on the off chance that I do, it will be a very occasional thing. So, with that said, let's get started.
Number 5, parody.
A parody anime is an anime that is full of references to other anime titles, so other movies and series and OVAs, and it's generally there to just make fun of it, or to pay tribute to it, or whatever. I don't have a problem with this on a personal level. I frankly have seen so many really great parody films, not anime movies, but just normal movies, that work the parody genre so well, and it gives me a good laugh every now and again just to get this sort of comedy going as such. So it's not that I don't like this stuff, it's more a case of it's not what I prefer to watch when I watch anime. I just prefer more serious titles with an actual themes and stuff like that, original ideas and that kind of thing. So you won't see many parody titles on Anime Geek in the near future. Okay. Once again, as I say, I'm not against parodies. I just prefer a more serious tone when I watch anime, or if I'm gonna watch a comedy, then I want an original comedy. I don't want to see a comedy that is based on sight gags alone. So yeah, that's why the parody genre takes the number 5 spot.
Number 4, Yuri.
Yuri is I guess I can say the adult version of Shoujo Ai. If you don't know what Shoujo Ai is, it's the term literally translates as girls' love. It's a genre in which two girls show love or affection for each other, and the general focus is on the relationship itself rather than physical intimacy. But then, of course, we have Yuri, which is, as I said, the adult version of this. It focuses on a more mature relationship between older girls and women, with a it seems to lean more towards the sexual side of the relationship. They go through all the ups and downs, but when it comes to sexual content, they are actually very explicit. Don't get me wrong, though. I mean, I have nothing against same-sex relationships, personally speaking. I have actually read a number of Yuri manga series, and they've all been pretty good. They've been actually very mild in terms of the sexual content, explicit, but the explicit content is only there for one panel, and then we get like a fade to black kind of thing. But for the most part, you won't see many of these, both because mostly I think because the anime world in general, the anime series and films that have these tags are generally actually just shoujo titles that have a more um, innuendo in them, a lot more mature humor, I guess. So we don't actually get these explicit actual Yuri titles in anime at all, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, you won't see many of those of the Yuri genre on Anime Geek anytime soon. I may review one or two series every now and again in this genre, but it's not going to be very likely, I have to admit.
Number 3, yaoi.
Yaoi is the more mature version of what we call shonen ai, and it's the exact opposite of Yuri. Okay, so let's start off with what shonen ai is. If you don't know what this is, it's the exact opposite of shoujo ai. The term literally translates as boys' love, and it focuses primarily on the blossoming romantic relationships between two boys. So it's two boys that show love or affection for each other to a degree, and it's very mild because, as I say, it focuses more on the relationship and less on physical intimacy. Okay, yaoi is the more mature version of this. It focuses on relationships between older boys and men, and again, it leans very much towards the sexual element, from what I understand. But that's not really the reason it's on the list, and at number 3 no less. As I said earlier, I don't have a problem with same-sex relationships. The main reasons this genre is on the list at all is because, one, like Yuri, the explicit nature of the content, especially in terms of the sexual content, means that a lot of anime titles out there, you don't actually get titles in the yaoi genre, or at least none that have the actual explicit content. Although from what I understand, we're actually supposed to start getting titles like this over the course of the next year or so, I think. And the second reason, I haven't actually read any yaoi mangas, and I haven't seen any yaoi animes, although the anime thing ties back to the first reason. We don't get them very often, if at all. So yeah, it's difficult to review something if you're not familiar with the genre, and if you're not I don't know how to explain it, if you're not familiar with it, if you haven't seen an anime with this genre or in this genre, if you haven't read any manga in this genre, it's very difficult to review because when you try to review it, your personal feelings might get in the way. So if you're not comfortable with this kind of genre and you review it based purely on the definition of it, it makes for a very unfair piece. And as I haven't read any yaoi mangas or seen any yaoi animes, I cannot look at this genre and review it with any degree of fairness. As I said when we looked at Yuri, I might review it at some point. I might review a title in the yaoi genre, but it's not likely. It's not that I'm against it. It's just the difficulty in finding a series like this that isn't a hentai, or a series in the genre that isn't pornographic in nature, is actually just what makes it difficult, because you wouldn't find a title with very explicit sexual content on a television series, basically. So it's not that I won't review it at all, but I'm not likely to review it in the near future. So hence it takes the number 3 spot.
Number 2, Kids.
How do I explain this? If you were to go up to any anime fan, any hardcore anime fan, and you were to say anime is for kids, they will make you regret it. They will recommend a series to you and say, go and watch this, and then come back and tell me that anime is for kids. And because you think, oh, well, it's a kid's cartoon, how bad could it be? And then it messes you up something terrible. So the kids thing is actually, I know it's a demographic, but it also kind of counts as a genre. There are titles out there that are aimed specifically at children aged 12 and younger. And personally speaking, I'm not really a fan of those. Because a lot of the time the story is just very light and very sort of I suppose it would be childish. Very, very light, very mild, and don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against a light-hearted show at all. If anything, I quite like the occasional kids show. So the main reason why this is at number 2 on the list is that I haven't actually seen that many of these. I mean, I know there are titles out there that are aimed at this demographic, but and I'm sure I've seen 2 or 3, or at least parts of these, but I'm really not a fan of this type of material, of the material found in this demographic. So for me to sit and say, okay, I'm going to review a kids series, and this is what it is, and this is what it's about, and animation is this, and the plot is this, and the characters are... I can't do it. Okay? I can't bring myself to actually sit down and watch a kid specific series, because being 23 myself and having actually not seen that many kids animes, it is highly unlikely that I will be able to review the genre, for one thing, fairly, and for another, I lose interest very easily. I'm used to really dark, mature storylines. So stuff like the Gundam series and Neon Genesis Evangelion and Ghost in the Shell and that kind of stuff. Those are all very mature series, and you wouldn't want to put a child in front of them, or at least put an unsupervised child in front of them. So when I see a series that's aimed specifically at children, I can watch it, but I'm most likely going to fall asleep in the middle of the movie or in the middle of the episode or whatever. So you won't see many kid-friendly titles or kid-specific titles on Anime Geek at any time or anytime soon. And now it's time for our number one pick. Brace yourselves, guys. Here it is.
Number 1, hentai.
Okay, so let's start off with the definition of the word hentai, shall we? The word hentai translates from Japanese into English literally as pervert. Okay? This genre focuses more on sexual content and less on story. It's very R-rated stuff, and you typically don't see it on television. So, yeah. And again, the focus on sex isn't a problem for me. I don't mind sexual content in films or in television series. But here's the thing. The sexual content has to contribute something to the plot. And in this case, because the focus is more on the sexual content and less on the story, then basically the sex is the story. You're just looking at this, waiting for the characters to go at it again. So I'm not comfortable watching this kind of stuff, and I don't see the point to watching this kind of stuff. And if my explanation didn't make sense, it's basically porn. It's anime porn. Do I really need to explain myself further? I'm not comfortable watching this kind of content, and I don't see the point to watching this kind of content, because honestly, it's just, I don't know, it's disturbing, I guess, would be a good word to use. But the fact that I find it both uncomfortable to watch and pointless to watch is more than enough reason for me to just say, no thank you, I'll go and watch something else. Okay? So you will never see a hentai title on Anime Geek. That is an absolute no-no on my part. I will not be reviewing those types of series because I don't feel like putting myself through that kind of brain dead or brainless type of show. And saying that, I mean, I feel kind of bad saying that because I understand that a lot of effort goes into, animating, and you've got to draw the characters and animate the characters, and you've got to draw the backgrounds. So I do feel sorry for the guys that are involved to a degree in producing hentai anime series, because it really does take a long time for them to get this series and get all this stuff done, and they really do put their all into it. So when I tear them apart for it, it kind of makes me feel a bit guilty, It doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to review the titles, but yeah. So hentai takes my number one spot. I will never review this title, and or this genre. It's not really a title, although I probably, if it's like a documentary on it that I see that's actually worth reviewing. The other reason I'm not going to review this is that I don't actually feel strongly enough to attack or defend the genre. I'm uncomfortable with it, and I find it pointless. But to me, those are not good enough reasons to attack the genre for what it is, or defend the genre for what it is. Okay? So, if that's the case, is there any real reason for me to talk about it at all? Other than to rage at the pointlessness of the sexual content and the lack of story, I understand people do this for a living. If you're involved in the industry and this is how you make money, go for it. If this is all you can do, then, all the power to you guys. But you won't be seeing me reviewing any of this stuff. So, that concludes my top 5 list. Just let me grab these. My eyes are starting to strain. That concludes my top 5 list. Let me know what you thought of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can let me know what you thought in the comment section below. If I've missed a genre that you find pointless, or that is just not marked off very well, or you think, just share your general thoughts. Do you agree or disagree? If so, why? Why would you agree with this list? Or why would you disagree with this list? And are there other genres out there that share the same problem of being not really worth reviewing? I understand that it's based according to your personal feelings and all. So if you guys are into these sorts of genres, power to you. I'm not going to judge. Everybody has their own tastes and opinions, so as I say, you can let me know what you thought in the comment section below, and you can let me know on my Twitter, on my Twitter page. So yeah, as I said during my Golgo 13 review. I love reading all your feedback and just generally sort of seeing more or less where I can improve these videos and what kind of content you guys would be interested in seeing. So, let me know about that in the comments section. You can leave questions, suggestions, and also, as I said, I'm stuttering here, aren't I? You can leave questions, about anime in general. You can leave just general questions from me if you like. You can let me know what you think about these genres personally, and if you want to see a particular series reviewed, that's of course outside of these genres, leave it in the comment section, leave it on my Twitter page. I'll definitely take a look. I'm always looking for new anime to watch, so yeah, that's all from me for now, guys. I will see you again for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. I should have the next video up by end of August. I want to start wrapping up August now, so I will be shooting a couple of videos which I should have finished over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, stay tuned for more, and I will see you all again for the next episode. Stay cool, guys. Till next time.